great.
We'll explore more about 361 and their specific strategies. Stay tuned.
Welcome back. Let's dig a little deeper into how 361 actually tackles private equity in India.
Okay.
Their strategy is really built on 3 pillars: differentiated sourcing, enhanced due diligence, and then strategic portfolio construction.
All right, those sound impressive, but how do those actually play out in the real world of investments? Walk me through it.
Okay, so think of it like this. They've really cultivated these deep relationships with top-tier investors, over 7,000 founders.
Wow.
So this gives them access to a deal flow that's off limits to many others. They're not just waiting for opportunities to come to them.
Yeah.
They're plugged into the network where those opportunities are actually emerging.
So they're in the right rooms hearing about these promising startups before they even hit the radar of most investors.
Exactly.
Okay, that's a serious advantage. But access alone isn't enough, right?
No, not at all. That's where that enhanced due diligence comes in.
Yeah.
They rigorously screen every potential investment, and they go way beyond those surface-level financials.
Yeah.
They really dive deep into the company's DNA. They're looking at, everything from, the business model scalability to the leadership team's experience, the overall management quality.
That's just doing anyone's word for it. They're verifying, validating, and really making sure that story holds up under scrutiny.
Absolutely.
What are some of the red flags that they might be looking for during that process?
They're looking at, the company's ability to generate sustainable profits.
Okay.
Can they scale without sacrificing their margins? Is there, a clear path to profitability? They also look at, the competitive landscape.
Yeah.
Is the company truly differentiated? Do they have a sustainable advantage?
Right.
And of course, they scrutinize that leadership team.
Yeah.
Are they experienced? Are they passionate?
Right.
And are they aligned with the company's vision?
Okay, so it sounds like you said, they're leaving no stone unturned.
Exactly.
But let's say they have identified a promising opportunity.
Right.
They've done their due diligence. They're ready to invest. How do they go about actually, building a portfolio in this private market space?
So they follow a very systematic process, and it starts with what's called deal origination.
Okay.
So they're actively seeking out investment targets through their network, attending industry events, conducting their own research.
So they're proactive.
Very proactive.
Not just passively waiting for deals to come their way.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Then comes that rigorous screening and due diligence phase that we talked about, where they apply their very strict evaluation criteria to really narrow down that pool of potential investment.
It's like a funnel.
It's like a funnel, yeah.
Filtering out all that noise.
Exactly.
And really focusing on those high potential companies that align with their thesis.
Align with their investment thesis,
Yeah.
exactly.
Okay.
And once they've identified the right opportunity, then they move on to deal execution and closing, negotiating those terms, finalizing all those legal and financial details. But they're also, even at this point, thinking ahead.
Okay.
They're crafting that exit strategy.
That makes sense. Yeah.
From the very beginning.
It's not just about getting in. It's also about understanding
when and how to get out.
Exactly.
Yeah, maximizing those returns for their investors.
Yeah.
But let's shift gears a little bit
Okay.
or talk about the people behind this strategy.
Yeah.
What can you tell us about, the 361 leadership team?
Yeah. Who are these people?
They've got a stellar team. It's a blend of seasoned professionals with deep experience in both public and private markets. So you've got Anup Maheshwari. He's the co-founder and CIO.
Okay.
He's got over 28 years of investment experience, including a very prominent role at DSP BlackRock.
So a veteran of the Indian market.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which seems invaluable when you're trying to navigate all the complexities of that market. But what about their private equity expertise?
Right, so that would be Samir Nath.
Okay.
He's the CIO and head of venture capital and private equity. He's got over 25 years of experience across private equity, M&A, capital markets, and even entrepreneurship.
Wow.
Yeah, so he's held, key positions at Citigroup and Iron Pillar.
Okay.
So he's got this very broad perspective, deep understanding of the Indian investment landscape.
So they've got the public and private market expertise covered.
They do.
Which seems like a pretty powerful combination.
It is.
But beyond, the individual credentials.
Right.
What about their overall investment philosophy?
Yeah.
What are those guiding principles that shape their decision making?
So they really believe in the power of fundamental analysis.
Okay.
They don't chase fads or get swayed by hype.
Right.
They dig deep. They understand the businesses they're investing in.
Yeah.
And they assess their long-term growth potential.
Okay.
They're also patient investors.
Right.
They're willing to hold on to companies for years, allowing them to really grow and mature.
That's refreshing to hear in a world that's, so obsessed with short-term gains and instant gratification.
Absolutely.
It's all about the long game here.
Yeah, exactly.
So they're not afraid to go against the grain.
Yeah.
To bet on companies that might be, undervalued or overlooked.
Right.
By the market.
Yeah.
They're looking for those hidden gems.
Exactly.
With the potential to become those future giants.
Yes, they are. But they're also realistic.
Okay.
They understand that not every investment is going to be a home run.
Right.
So they're prepared to cut their losses if things don't go as planned.
Okay.
So they're constantly monitoring their portfolio, they're adjusting their strategy, and making sure they're positioned for that long-term success.
So it sounds like a very disciplined, data-driven approach.
It is.
Balancing that optimism with pragmatism, conviction, with the willingness to adapt.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's not just about maximizing returns, is it?
Yeah.
They're also considering the impact that their investments have on society.
Right. They're looking for companies that are not only profitable, but also contributing to a better future for India.
So it's not just about chasing profits. It's about making a positive impact as well.
Exactly.
But when it comes to their portfolio, are there any specific sectors or industries that they're targeting? Are they playing in all areas of the Indian market, or do they have particular focus?
So they have a broad investment mandate.
Okay.
But they are especially drawn to sectors that are experiencing this rapid transformation.
Okay, give me an example.
So think, technology, healthcare, renewable energy, consumer goods, financial services. Right. They're really tapping into those megatrends that we discussed earlier and aiming to capture that growth potential of a rapidly evolving India.
Makes sense to align your investments with those larger forces that are shaping the economy.
Exactly, yeah.
I think maybe this is a good place to pause for a moment.
Sounds good to me.
We can dive into those sectors in a little bit more detail in the next part of our deep dive, so stay tuned. All right, welcome back to our deep dive into India's blended investment landscape. We've talked about everything from those macroeconomic trends to the really intricate world of private equity,
right?
And of course 361E's approach. But let's get down to the brass tacks here. What are the real opportunities and challenges of actually navigating these private markets in India?
Yeah, so I think one of the biggest hurdles that we've kind of touched upon is just, the accessibility.
Right.
Those high minimum investments can make it really difficult for individual investors to even get a foot in the door. It's often perceived as this playground for, those institutional investors and high net worth individuals.
So there's this perception of exclusivity, almost a barrier to entry for the everyday investor.
Yeah.
But wouldn't that also limit the growth potential of some of these really promising startups that need capital but might not appeal to those larger investors? Yeah.
You've hit the nail on the head, and that's where a blended approach can really play a crucial role.
Okay.
Funds like 361, with their diverse investor base and their expertise, they can really bridge that gap.
Okay.
They can pool those resources, lower those minimums, and provide access to a wider range of investors.
So it's about democratizing access.
Exactly.
To these private market opportunities. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. But accessibility isn't the only challenge, right? What about this mysterious world of private company valuation?
Yeah.
How do you even determine what a company is actually worth when there's no stock market to give you a reference point?
Right. So it's a multifaceted process. It requires, a blend of financial analysis, market research, and a healthy dose of judgment.
Right.
So unlike publicly traded companies where, you've got that readily available market data, you've got transparent financials, valuing a private company it's more of an art than a science.
You're really looking at their growth trajectory, their profitability, their competitive landscape. the experience of their management team.
Exactly.
A much more nuanced evaluation.
Yeah, you're piecing together a puzzle, considering a wider range of factors, right, and relying on your expertise and experience to make those informed judgments. And that's where a firm like 361, with their deep understanding of the Indian market, and their rigorous due diligence process can provide a significant advantage.
It sounds like you need to be a bit of a detective, uncovering those clues and assessing the true potential of these private companies.
Absolutely.
But we also can't forget another key challenge, liquidity. Investing in private companies often requires, a pretty long-term commitment.
Right.
You can't just, sell your shares on a whim like you can with publicly traded stocks.
You can't. That's true. Liquidity is definitely a factor to consider. But remember, that's one of the key benefits of a blended approach, right?
Right.
By incorporating a portion of those listed equities into the portfolio, you're essentially creating that balance,
right, yeah,
between liquidity and that growth potential.
So you're getting that exposure to those potentially higher returns of the private markets without completely locking up your capital.
Right.
You're maintaining some flexibility and control.
Exactly.
But despite all these challenges, India's private markets are brimming with opportunity, right?
Oh, absolutely. India's startup ecosystem is just this hotbed of innovation, with companies tackling, some of the world's most pressing challenges across a variety of sectors. There's this palpable energy, a sense that anything is possible.
Yeah, it's exciting, isn't it?
It is.
To be a part of this wave of innovation, investing in companies that are not only, generating those returns, but also making a real difference.
Yeah, absolutely.
Speaking of making a difference, one of 360 Wooday's, notable investments is in a leading online grocery delivery platform.
Right.
And they recognize that company's potential very early on.
Yeah.
Understanding those shifting consumer behaviors and that massive market opportunity.
Exactly.
And their investment really helped the company scale its operations, expand its reach, and ultimately achieve a successful public listing.
Yeah, it's a great example of how a strategic investment can really create value and impact.
So they saw the bigger picture, they bet on the right team, and they helped to really, fuel that company's growth trajectory.
Absolutely.
Another compelling example is their investment in a renewable energy company.
Right.
They recognized, India's vast potential in this sector, given the country's, abundant sunshine and its growing need for clean and sustainable energy sources.
Yeah, they were looking ahead, anticipating that shift towards renewable energy that's now sweeping the globe.
And their investment, supported the company's expansion,
right,
allowing them to build new solar power plants and contribute to India's, transition to a greener future.
Absolutely. So it's a great example of how investors can really align their financial goals with their commitment to sustainability.
Yeah, those are just two examples, but they really illustrate, the power of this blended approach.
Exactly.
And 361's ability to identify and support those promising companies across a variety of sectors.
Absolutely.
So I guess the question is, what does this all mean for our listeners?
Yeah.
What are the key takeaways from our deep dive into India's blended investment opportunity?
Oh, right. So I think, India is this land of contrasts, right?
Yeah.
It's a vibrant democracy with a rapidly growing economy, a rich history, and a really promising future. It's a market that presents both challenges and opportunities for investors.
And I think a blended approach, combining the strengths of listed and unlisted equities, really offers a compelling way to navigate that dynamic landscape.
It does. It's about balancing that risk and reward, diversifying your portfolio, and tapping into the potential of both public and private markets.
And I think working with an experienced partner like 361 can really give you that access to a diverse range of opportunities, leverage that deep expertise, and benefit from a disciplined and strategic approach to investing.
Absolutely.
So this deep dive has hopefully equipped you with some valuable insights into India's evolving investment landscape.
I hope so.
Now it's time to explore, to delve deeper into those sectors that spark your interest, and consider how a blended approach might fit into your overall investment strategy.
Remember, every investment journey begins with a single step, right?
Yeah.
So take that step today. Arm yourself with knowledge. Seek advice from those trusted professionals, and you might just unlock a world of exciting possibilities in India's dynamic market.
And that is a wrap on another deep dive. See you next time.